Hey everyone, welcome back to the Copywriting Critique Series. My name's Carmen. One of my students submitted this email copy here, so we'll take a look, see where we can improve it, rewrite some of its sections and make it better, and then we can send it off for them, and they can learn from those different improvements we've made. But essentially, we'll just go through it real quick, see what it's all about, and then we'll start actually working on it. So Copywriting 3, this is actually just, I believe, a title they put in there, so we can delete that. If you've been having a hard time getting clients and starting to feel nothing is going your way, it's because you're making a massive mistake. And when I learned what I'm about to teach you, I went from getting a reply once a week from outreach to booking multiple sales calls every week and eventually hitting my first 10K month as a copywriter. You see, practice, most copywriters waste their time trying the same unsuccessful strategies over and over again, thinking maybe someday they'll finally land that paying client, which is literally crazy. If you don't have multiple sale calls every week, it's because there's something dumb about your outreach strategy. Maybe it's copywriting skills, maybe you need to learn more about your niche. It may even be your motivation that needs help. But whatever it is, one thing is for sure, you're trying to figure out why your strategy stinks and is going to suck up months of your time. Because you don't have the knowledge or background to know what you're doing wrong. You work a couple of months, get burnt down and quit, then end up having a normal life, working a 9 to 5, slaving away for someone else, never having enough money to enjoy your life or provide for your loved ones. That sounds like hell to me, especially when you can get paid within the next 30 days like these guys down here. We have a testimonial picture. I'm going to highlight that. There are two things these guys did to get themselves money in just 30 days. Became practicers and learned the fastest way to getting a paid client in just a month. Hopped on a quick one-on-one call with me where we figured out exactly where they went wrong in their journey and how to fix it. Now each one of these guys are well on their way to quitting their 9 to 5 jobs, dropping out of college to do copywriting full-time, having no one to listen to, being their own boss. So if you want to get started with this process, reply back to this email with 30 days ASAP so we can figure it out together. Talk soon, practice. I think this is actually just the name here, so we'll have to put in a token just so we know that, because I saw that earlier on in the email, but it was a little confusing. So we have that, and then it was also up here. Let me just search it. Yeah, so we want to do first name for the personalization. P.S. Time is money and execution is king. Every day you waste lounging around failing to get clients is costing your own freedom. Email me as soon as you get this and let's get you started. Okay, so essentially it's a email towards freelance copywriters that are struggling to get clients and scale up their business and make money. And what he's offering is a one-on-one call to essentially fix their copywriting and outreach strategy. That's pretty much what we're getting. Now, one of the things we don't have here, which you've heard me mention a million times, is a subject line and preview text. If we're doing email copywriting and email marketing, this is the first thing people are going to see. And if we don't have that optimized or we don't even enter one, we're going to be in lots of trouble. We're not going to get a good open rate and the conversion rate that we want. So what I like doing is popping in a bunch of ideas, maybe even using ChatGPT. I'll use that in a moment as well, and we'll see what we get. So for the subject line, typically what I like to do is use curiosity or mystery. We can also use a benefit, create urgency, use a call to action. There's a lot of different strategies we can use, but curiosity is really powerful because it entices people to open the email because we're giving them some information, but we're leaving something out. We're excluding something. We're not giving them the full story, so they have to open the email. And I think because we mentioned 10K a month in here, hitting my first 10K a month as a copywriter, I want to use that because it's very specific as well. If you can use numbers and details, it makes it more interesting and concrete, and that'll also boost our open rate. So maybe something like how I make 10K a month copywriting. And also the shorter you can make it, typically the better. So instead of saying how I make $10,000 a month as a copywriter, we just shorten it up a little bit to how I make 10K a month copywriting. I could say make 10K a month copywriting with this one trick. Let me also remove the bold there. So make 10K a month copywriting with this one trick. How my students made 10K a month copywriting. I like these actually. So it's specific. We have the number in there. We offer value and a benefit that if they click through, they're going to learn how to make a lot of money freelance copywriting. So I'm just going to keep those for now. And then with the preview text, what we're doing is just elaborating on the subject line. Remember, the preview text is that usually line of text that pops up in someone's inbox like Gmail, and essentially they see the subject line, and then alongside or below that there'll be a little bit of preview text, and we essentially just want to elaborate on the subject line and give them a bit more info, and that also is going to boost our click-through rate and people opening it. So how I make 10K a month copywriting, maybe stop struggling to get freelance clients once and for all. Get a one-on-one copywriting coaching call with me to learn. So yeah, actually, I kind of like that. We'd probably use one of these and then one of these. I think that they go hand in hand and offer a lot of value. Now, the hook is going to be one of the most important parts of your email. It's the first thing people read. And I'll actually pull up one of my favorite copywriting formulas here for email. Let me see. I have a document where I kind of keep different templates and things I like to use. So let me get that. I'm going to plug it in here. I'll actually put it above here. Okay, so this is email copywriting template. And you might have seen me use this before. It's really powerful. And let me just plug it in here. So question focused subject line. We have a salutation, our shocking statement, which essentially is our hook. We have our bullets, which is the main points we're making. And it can also literally be bullet points if you want. CTA, call to action. And then we have a personal note, which is essentially a PS. So we'll do that right there. Okay, we're using this template. Feel free to save that and I'll put it in the description as well if you want to use that for future. So again, the question focused subject line, it doesn't have to be a question focused subject line. A question though is very engaging and it gets people's attention because it gets them thinking and answering whatever the question is. So technically we could even say, want to earn 10K a month writing, right? So it essentially is just using the ones we already made, but in a question format. So questions can be really powerful as well. Try maybe if you're using a certain subject line, shaping it into a question and see how that performs. So we have our salutation. We always want to usually kick off the email with personalization and saying, hey, first name, if possible, or at least in some capacity using their name. So don't even have to say, hey, first name. We can actually say first name. If you've been struggling, if you've been having a hard time getting clients, we can even ask a question here. So maybe if we're using one of these subject lines instead of the question, we can do it right here. So first name, we can say John, are you struggling to get copywriting clients and stressed out from the lack of progress? Starting to feel like nothing is going your way, so I know how it feels. Having nothing going your way. And so there is a lot of kind of grammar and things we got to fix up in this email. It's actually a pretty good start. And Flown uses a lot of good strategies, but one thing kind of throughout the entire email I noticed is like the grammar and just some of kind of like the structure and whatnot. You can see he ends a lot of the sentences with a comma instead of a period, and just the flow could actually be a lot better. So first name, are you struggling to get copywriting clients and stressed out from the lack of progress? I know how it feels having nothing go your way and not having any money in the bank. It's because, so I know how it feels having nothing going your way and not having money, or we'll say having no money in the bank. And again, we want to make that hook in those first couple lines emotional, and we want to hit their pain points. So obviously if someone is a copywriter, they're struggling to get clients, they're going to be stressed out. They're comparing themselves to other brands and influencers and writers that maybe they're lacking money to, and they're stressed out because of that. So we're hitting those pain points right away to get their attention, and we're also using their name to make it personalized and get their attention that much more. I know how it feels having nothing going your way and having no money in the bank, and it's all because you're making one massive mistake. And when I learned what I'm about to teach you, or from getting a reply once a week from outreach to booking multiple sales calls per week, now I hit my first 10K a month. No, I'll put that back. What I'm about to teach you. When I learned what I'm about to teach you, yeah, we'll keep that. I'm going to ignore that. Now, I will say, now I make $10,000 a month as a copywriter. One thing I would do here is I would kind of bridge it into our service, or essentially just transition into the rest of the email and just kind of help with their imagination, make it more emotionally compelling. So Yeah, he makes $10,000 a month as a copywriter. That's awesome, but I want to talk about what that feels like just to make it more emotionally intriguing. So we can talk about probably being our own boss. I'm my own boss. I can enjoy any luxury or purchase, treat my family and friends, and most importantly, never have any stress or anxiety about my finances. I can't explain how good to see that money coming in and not have to worry about how to pay rent. We can kind of clean this up probably, but just something really quick. And something with copywriting too, I've also mentioned, I want to just really drill in, is if you can write quick, that's a really good practice, and then edit after, because when you write quick, you're actually using the right hemisphere of your brain, which is the creative, emotional side. And you'll see that typically your copywriting will come off a lot more inspirational and emotional, which is really what's going to make it effective. But when you're taking your time and you're really slow with it, which can be good at times and that has its place, you're using the left part of your brain, which is very analytical in that sense. So you end up kind of maybe having writer's block and being slow. So don't be afraid just to write really fast, get your ideas on the page, because that's actually what's going to probably get the good copy out, and then you can edit it and proofread it after. So now I make $10,000 a month. I'm my own boss. I can enjoy any luxury purchase I want, treat my family and friends, and most importantly, never have any stress or anxiety about my finances. I can't explain how good it feels to see that money coming in when I wake up and not have to worry about how to pay rent. You see, first name, most copywriters waste their time trying the same unsuccessful strategies over and over again. They think maybe someday they'll finally land that paying client, but months go by with no results. And we'll say, the reality is if you don't, a little mistake there. Oh, sorry, I shouldn't have ignored that. If you don't have multiple sales calls every week, it's because there's something dumb about your outreach strategy. I would probably reword this. I wouldn't really want to call the prospect dumb and kind of insult them in that way. I get what he's going for. He's trying to make it kind of negative and like hit that pain point, right, in that problem. But I'd probably just reword this. So the reality is, if you don't have multiple sales call every week, it's because you're doing outreach completely wrong. And I'm also going to underscore that, just kind of emphasis. Maybe it's your copywriting skills. Maybe you need to learn more about your niche. It can even be your motivation that needs help, whatever thing is for sure. Okay, we can actually just kind of remove this because we're kind of focusing more on like outreach in this email and that being the kind of main problem. You're trying to figure out why your strategy stinks is going to suck up months of your time because you don't have the knowledge or background. So this is good. We're kind of transitioning now into our offer and why he as a coach can help these copywriters. So this too, I would reword a little bit. It's a good idea though. You're trying to figure out why your strategy stinks is going to suck up months of your time. It's because your outreach is completely wrong. And trust me, trying to figure out, I shall say, learning good outreach can take months or years of practice, years of trial and error. Because you don't have the knowledge or background to know what you're doing wrong. I would say probably doing right or wrong. That makes it a bit more sense. You work a couple of months, you get burnt out and quit, end up having a normal life. Yeah, we could say that. I think we've hit some pretty good pain points. I guess it doesn't hurt to kind of elaborate on it, but it doesn't make sense really right here. We're probably going to restructure this a bit. Trust me, learning good outreach can take months or years of trial and error because you don't have the knowledge or background to know what you're doing right or wrong. Then this happens. And then we'll actually make a bullet point list, just kind of change up the format. You work a couple of months. get burnt out and quit, then end up having a normal life. Having a normal life, working a 9-to-5 job, slaving away for someone else. Not to mention never having money to enjoy your life. Well, actually, we kind of hit those pain points early on, providing, not having money. So that sounds like hell to me, especially when you can get paid within the next 30 days, like these guys right here. Sounds like hell to me, especially when you get paid for copywriting within the next 30 days, like my successful students here. And essentially we'd have a testimonial. So this either would be a video testimonial from a student, it could be just a graphic, it could be a quote, but essentially in some format, we would have the testimonials here. And now we're transitioning into the offers. So kind of just to recap right now, we have the good subject line that's providing value, curiosity, a benefit. We have the preview text elaborating on that. The hook is using their first name, which is personalization. And then right away, we're hitting their pain points and making it emotional. And then we're also creating a unique mechanism. We're essentially starting to give them a little bit of bait or information that this is all happening because you're making one massive mistake, which is more curiosity. And then he's saying that when I learned what I'm about to teach you, it essentially, doubled my outreach and I'm getting multiple sales calls every week. So we're creating some desire now because they're thinking, okay, I want that. I want to get more clients and more sales calls. Now I make $10,000 a month as my copywriter. We make some desire here too, make it more emotionally interesting by painting that picture. If you can paint a picture, whether it's negative or positive, it just kind of lets them use their imagination and get more excited about what's to come. We do that here. And then we also kind of elaborate a bit more on the pain points of kind of wasting time, and months or years can go by because you don't even know what you're doing wrong. And we hit more of the pain points here. And now we're getting into the offer itself. Okay, so we're using testimonials, which is social proof. If you can use case studies, customer success stories, reviews, video or photo testimonials, those are huge for building trust. So we have that. There were two things these guys did to get themselves money in just 30 days with copywriting. They became practicers and learned the fastest way to get a paying client in just a month. I would probably say became dedicated to, the methods I taught them and learned the fastest way to get a paid client in just 1 month. Kind of emphasize that there. And remember, formatting and structure is a big part of copywriting and content writing as well. So use bolding, italics, underlining, header tags, right? Use this to your advantage to kind of emphasize certain things and break up the copy. Next, hopped on a quick one-on-one call with me where we figure out exactly what went wrong in their journey, how to fix it. I like that. Now, each of these guys is well on their way to quitting their 9-to-5 job. Again, we want to end that with a period, not a comma. Dropping out of college to do copywriting full time, having no one to listen to, being their own boss. Each one of those guys wanted to quitting their 9-to-5 job and being their own boss as a full-time freelancer. Right, so we can cut that out. If you want to get started with this process, reply back to this email with 30 days ASAP so we can figure out together. I wouldn't say that. So we want the call to action to be a little bit more specific. And also a bit more interesting. So we can say, if you want to get paid copywriting in the next 30 days, reply back to this email ASAP to book a coaching call. Talk soon, name. The PS, typically with the PS, you can elaborate kind of on the main offer. If this is in a sequence or you've sent other emails out, you might recap maybe a previous email or campaign. Typically what I like doing is creating a sense of urgency or scarcity. It's one of the best things you can do in the PS and what you've seen me do, I think, in some of my previous videos. So I'm gonna actually do that. So we'll say PS, I only take on a certain amount of coaching coaching clients. So make sure to book before all the spots are taken. So I like that. Pretty solid email. As you can see, we tweaked it up pretty good, optimized it. We used not exactly this template, but it is a pretty powerful one, and we used some of the ideas from it. But this is a really good template in general that I tend to follow. Gets really good conversion rates, open rates, and we did pull some things from that. But again, just to recap, let's go through this. So subject lines. We have a sense of mystery and curiosity because we're talking about how we or one of our students made $10,000 a month copywriting. It's also very specific. We're not just saying how I made money copywriting, how they made money. We're saying a very specific amount, which also makes it more credible because there's actual numbers and something backing it up. And then the preview text essentially elaborates on that by either hitting the pain point of stop struggling to get clients or giving them value and a benefit of getting a one-on-one coaching call. So they exactly know what's ahead too. We use personalization in the email to make it more direct and interesting, get their attention. We're hitting pain points. We're creating more mystery and curiosity by having these hints in the copy of what's to come and keeping them reading. We're creating emotionally compelling copy and creating desire and allowing them to use their imagination by painting a picture of what their dream outcome looks like. We have more personalization. Then we get into more of the pain points and hitting that and elaborating on it. We also start painting a picture here and hitting their pain points to allow them to think, oh, I've been in this situation. I've worked for months. I got burnt out. I didn't stick to it. And then I had to go back to a job. So we're making it very relevant to their situation. And when you research your customers and you look at competitors' copy, you get information and guidelines from your client. You read on social media and you do these processes. And I have a video on copywriting research process you should check out. These are things you're going to figure out and you'll take notes on, and then you can use them in your copy to make it that much more effective. We have social proof in the form of testimonials. And then we're transitioning into the offer, where essentially we have a one-on-one call to figure out exactly where they can fix their outreach and copywriting journey and freelancing and starting to get more clients. And then we have the PS, where we hit a little bit more urgency and scarcity. Replying back to the email isn't bad. I guess you do get people that are more engaged, but technically you could also just have a link directly to like a calendar app or something. But this isn't too bad either. But this is a really good email. I think this is confidently something we could send out that would perform really well. And now if you need copywriting, coaching, or critique, feel free to join the Copy Pro Academy in the description. You can join the Discord, get coaching from me and the community. If there's anything you'd like to learn about regarding marketing or copywriting, just let me know down in the comments. Hope you're having a great week and copywriting is going good for you, and I'll see you in the next video.